Hey guys, it's D. Allen with Women Throwing Leather. So last night was Invicta FC 19 in Kansas City, Missouri. Now it was an 8-fight card with 2 of those fights being title fights. One in the atomweight division and one in the flyweight division. I'm not going to be covering all 8 fights, but I will be covering 4 of the fights. 2 of the title fights and then 2 more high-profile fights. One of those fights being the MMA debut of the Muay Thai champion Tiffany Van Soest. One of the strawweight fights was Tiffany Van Soest versus Callan Schwartz. Now this is Van Soest's MMA debut. Van Soest is recently signed to Invicta FC, coming from Muay Thai, where she is a 2-division world champion. There was a lot of hype coming into this fight for her. You know, most of that's because of her near total dominance in Muay Thai. She is a 2-division bantamweight and super bantamweight world champion. Her opponent, Callan Schwartz, who also made her debut, comes from a wrestling background. Looking at that fight with her and Van Soest, she was a strong wrestler and actually made an impressive debut. She almost immediately shot in to try to take Van Soest to the ground, and Van Soest fought hard to stuff her takedowns. Van Soest just showed a ton of heart in fighting against the submissions from Schwartz. One thing it did show is where her holes are and what she needs to focus on in her training, because that was clearly evident as far as her ground game. But Tiffany posted on her Instagram, is this the end of the world? No. Is she disappointed? Yes. It's merely just a bump in the road. It's just another mountain that she has to climb. And, everybody knows when you climb a mountain, you got to start at the bottom. You can't start at the top. Miesha Tate said it best, that a loss is a learning experience. And from that loss, you actually come back better and stronger as a fighter. The bantamweight fight was Irene Aldana versus Faith Van Duyn. It was a great matchup, both great strikers. Aldana kind of had the slight edge, but Faith throws hard, and she rocked Aldana once or twice. Here's the thing about Aldana. She fights like a beast. Basically overwhelmed Van Duyn. And that's the way she fights. That's her fighting style. Is very aggressive, very in your face. Once she backs you up against the cage, she unloads both barrels. It's a barrage of fists. She's got pinpoint accuracy. I mean, she throws really good. She's one of the best, It wouldn't surprise me if the UFC snatches her up pretty quick. So one of the 2 title fights in the card was Ayaka Hamasaki versus Jinyu Frey, and that was in the atomweight division. Hamasaki's the current atomweight champion, and she took on Jinyu Frey, who actually beat the former atomweight champion for Invicta, Herrick Taburcio. Hamasaki took Frey down repeatedly. Frey's defense looked really good on the ground. She was able to stop Hamasaki from really securing anything and work to get back to her feet. Towards the end of round 2, Hamasaki caught Frey with an overhand right, just a vicious overhand right, which opened up a gash on the side of Frey's head. And the referee stopped, called a timeout, called the doctor in. The doctor waved the fight over and actually stopped the fight because of the cut. Looking at social media, kind of right after that, and then, the next day, just the barrage of comments about how it's a BS stoppage and the doctor shouldn't have stopped it, they should let it continue. And I somewhat agree with that. Let me first say this. I understand that the doctor is there to prevent and to preserve the fighter's health. They're looking out for the safety of the fighter. I get that. However, this was a title fight. And I've seen non-title fight men's fights in the UFC. I've also seen women's fights in Invicta that had far worse cuts. Should it have been stopped? Obviously, it's debatable. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it should have been stopped. 1, because it was a title fight. 2, it was a nasty gash that's going to need a gang of stitches. Wasn't bleeding in her eye. It wasn't, causing any kind of impairment of her vision. Maybe it was an inexperienced doctor. Maybe it wasn't the usual doctor that they have. A number of reasons why it was stopped. What I really think they should do, because of this, whenever there's a title fight, they should have 2 doctors. One doctor simply has a second opinion. Have the one doctor look at it. If he thinks they should stop it, bring the other doctor in real quick and have him give him a second opinion. Because not every doctor gives the same opinion. One doctor may overreact and think, oh, it's a horrible cut. We need to stop it. The other doctor may go, you know what? I've seen worse than that. For title fights especially, there needs to be 2 doctors, independent of one another. Not that they converse, but one doctor looks at it, makes his decision, the other doctor looks at it, makes his decision. Especially for title fights, because there's a lot riding on that fight. It's not just any fight, it's a title fight. There's a lot riding on it. So, to some degree, Jinyu Frey kind of got robbed of showing what she could do, because she was still in it. So there was a little bit of controversy for this event. The Invicta management actually made the announcement during the weigh-ins that Barb Honchak, who was the current flyweight champion for Invicta, was stripped of her title. And so Barb Honchak kind of went on social media and said that she found out via social media. Like, she wasn't even notified. Of course, there's two sides to every story. I don't know what Invicta's story was. I honestly want to give Invicta FC the benefit of the doubt. You know, Shannon Knapp, the president of Invicta, seems like a pretty straight shooter. I don't think they would do that. I mean, it just doesn't seem like that's what they would do. So I really find it hard to believe that that's how she found out. What that means is this. The fight that was between Jennifer Maia and Roxanne Modafferi was initially for the interim flyweight championship belt. As a result of Honchak being stripped of her belt and her title, that fight now became for the real flyweight championship belt. Jennifer Maia, who is the current flyweight champion, took on Roxy, the Happy Warrior Modafferi, who is a veteran of the sport. Her fight for Invicta FC 19 was her 34th fight. It was a 5-round back-and-forth war. Both landed some incredible shots, some great groundwork from Modafferi. Nearly had an armbar locked in twice on the champ. Jennifer Maia, she fought through Roxy's ground game, which is not easy to do. Modafferi has some of the best groundwork out there. She's trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so she has an amazing ground game and just highly dangerous on the ground. But Maia fought through it. She landed some heavy, heavy leather on Roxy and rocked her a couple of times. You see the after photos, and Roxy's nose was just, you know, obviously it was broken. All the hard shots that Maia threw at Modafferi, you know, Modafferi fought through it. You know, she is incredibly tough. She's just an incredibly tough fighter. If you actually got a chance to catch this card on UFC Fight Pass, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. I'm D. Allen. Thanks again for watching Women Throwing Leather. And as always, you guys are awesome. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.